What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Jets Media Podcast. We will be previewing the New York Jets matchup at home against the Atlanta Falcons. And my first thing is, thank you so much for clicking on this, because that tells me you're still interested in hearing what I have to say and what Jack has to say, even though the Jets are on a 4-game losing streak and the season is spiraling downward before our very eyes. I want you, right now, whoever you are watching this or listening to this, to give yourself a pat on the shoulder. You want to know why? Because you are a passionate, loyal fan, because you still want to listen to what we have to say, and you want to listen to Jets talk even when the Jets give you no reason to. So with that, Jack, welcome to the pod as always.
Amen, my friend. And yes, I'm very happy to be here. Let me address the elephant in the room real quick. Yes, I'm wearing this big, heavy coat today. I know it's going to be in the comments already. Sorry, guys. I'm a little under the weather. You might be able to hear that in my voice as well. I'm just trying to stay warm, but I'm still hyped to talk about the Jets, even though they stink. And we have the Atlanta Falcons coming up right around the corner. 1 o'clock game. First stretch in what's going to be a month straight of 1 o'clock games. Back to what we know and what we love. Mediocre 1 o'clock football for the New York Jets, baby. Let's get it. We have a lot of fun things to talk about. Aaron Rodgers is with the team practicing. It's crazy. It's what nobody expected after he went down with a torn Achilles. Obviously, 4 plays into the season opener. But man, oh man, is he back? Is he throwing balls? He's moving around, and they opened up a 21-day window for him to be activated. And for him to be activated, that does not mean he has to play. He can be quarterback 3 and be activated. So things are looking up for Aaron Rodgers to come back this year. Now, will they be meaningful games? Obviously, most likely the answer is no. But will it be cool to see Aaron Rodgers play once again in 2023? You're damn right it will be, man, because to me, I don't know about you, but I'm sure you agree, it feels like, the last 6-7 months of my life and all of our lives as Jets fans has been a big lie, a giant joke, a prank on us. So to at least see him come back and play some football this season, I guess would be kind of cool.
It would be cool, and obviously there's a lot of risk involved, but we're going to be breaking it all down because Aaron is back, and you see the guy out there throwing those darts, and it's just like, wow. The first thing, and I've said this numerous times, Jack, unfortunately, this just gives me nothing but frustration and sadness more than anything, just because it's not about Aaron Rodgers. It's more about this Jets team cannot give him an opportunity to do something miraculous, because Rodgers told us back in September, early October, he wants to come back. And we were like, what a dream. Imagine that. Look at him. He's back. But now there's no reason for us to get excited because the Jets are losers of 4 straight. And now the season is dwindling. And the only way the Jets can salvage the season is winning 6 in a row or winning 5 of the last 6. And that seems so ridiculously far-fetched with Tim Boyle as our quarterback. So that's why I'm a little frustrated that the Jets could not stay afloat for Aaron, because we had a chance to write the craziest NFL script of all time ever, with him going down in the first game and him returning for a playoff run, and he's not even going to return for a chance of that. Who knows? Maybe they still have a chance, but with Tim Boyle at quarterback going up against Atlanta and then Houston, it's not going to be likely.
We drank the Kool-Aid as Jets fans this year, man. We all told ourselves it's not going to be like last year. It's not going to be like last year. And when I say that, I'm referring to coming out of the bye and falling completely flat, which is exactly what we did last year and exactly what we did once again this year. And what did we tell ourselves? No, it's not going to happen. Not again. Not this year. Not this year. At the time, we were hopeful of Zach Wilson. He had a couple of, decent games strung together. We beat the freaking Philadelphia Eagles going into the bye. Things were good. We came out of the bye and got a crappy win over the New York Giants. Things were still good. A win was a win. And now, a month removed from that game, 4 L's in a row. And like I said, we drank the Kool-Aid, man. Once again, we believed that this team was not going to go out there and replicate what they did last season. And they did.
And they're
doing it. It was a giant tease. And like you said, man, going back to the point you just made, which I agree with, it's incredibly frustrating, that this team could not, with Aaron Rodgers coming back, even willing to come back, but with him definitely looking like he's going to come back at some point this regular season, we could not put him in a position, or at least it looks like at this moment, unless we win out, like Richie just said, to have him at least play meaningful football. So when he does come back, at least, it can be a little preview of what could be next season.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
And it's crazy because the AFC is wide open. Do you know the 7th seed in the AFC if the season ended today for the playoffs?
I believe it's the Indianapolis Colts.
The Colts!
Crazy.
At 6-5.
Crazy.
Like at 6-5.
6-5.
If the Jets were just 5-7 instead of 5-6, excuse me, if they've won one of the last 4 games, we'd be 5-6, 1 game away from that spot. Instead, we're that far away, and it's going to cause a big test for the morale of this team and trying to figure out ways. Maybe Aaron being back with the team and being at practice is going to spark something in this offense. I don't know. It's hard for me even to believe. It's hard for me to find any sort of optimism for the New York Jets offense. I'll be straight up with you guys. You guys know me. I'm an optimist. I like to be positive, but I'm keeping it real with you folks. There's nothing about this offense that I can say we have a chance to, bounce back and score some points. The only thing I can say is we're getting healthier on the offensive line. Makai trending back in good direction. Wes Schweitzer is back. Probably be the starting right guard, hopefully, because Xavier Newman, cannot be a starting right guard in the NFL. And Wes Schweitzer is no, Pro Bowl or even starter caliber player, but he's better than what we got at right guard. So Dwayne Brown as well. So there's some offensive line health that's trending in the right direction. And the one positive thing I will say about the offensive line, Jack, because he deserves some flowers, because there's not a lot of positive things to say about the offense, is Joe Tippmann is graded as the best rookie center in the NFL. He has a 98.4 pass block rating. He is a bright spot to a very depleted offensive line. If there's one thing that we could be hopeful for the future of this Jets offense, and more specifically the offensive line, is that we might have found our franchise center to be excited about for the future in Joe Tippmann.
And that would be huge, man. I mean, we obviously know how big Nick Mangold was for this team, how big, Kevin Mawai was for this team. The Jets were spoiled at center for many, many years. And now we've kind of, Connor McGovern hasn't been a bad player. He hasn't ever really been a great player. He's been kind of a middle-of-the-road guy. Maybe trending towards the top end of centers, starting centers in the NFL, statistically at least, but has never really jumped off the screen like, wow, look at Connor McGovern, the way that Mekhi Becton and Elijah Vera Tucker have already jumped off the screen.
Nice and serviceable, did what he needed to do.
Exactly. But, Joe Tippmann, is another Joe Douglas offensive line draft pick, so we obviously are, hoping for the best for him. The question is going to be, availability. Unfortunately, Elijah Vera Tucker and Mekhi Becton, the 2 players that I just mentioned, are studs when they're available, but availability has now been a big issue for the both of them. So just keeping our fingers crossed that with one, little injury that Joe Tippmann already experienced in his rookie season, that is not a trend that continues in the future, because that would really stink, man. Because as freaking frustrated as I am with Joe Douglas and this front office for botching the quarterback situation, what are you going to do when it comes to the offensive line, man? I mean, everything that Joe Douglas has tried to do with this offensive line seems good on paper, and then either they stink, which is, out of his hands, because like we said, it seems good on paper. On paper is Joe Douglas's job. When it comes to performance on the field, that's Robert Saleh and the coaching staff's job. So as frustrated as I am with the front office for botching the quarterback situation, you can't make it up how many injuries we're dealing with on this offensive line. So I bring up the injury concern for a player like Tippmann, because we can't have it happen. Yeah. Please save Joe Tippmann from this curse of offensive line injuries that this New York Jets seem to be continuously dealing with.
You know who deserves some praise? Laken Tomlinson, the only starter on offensive line that's never been hurt, never missed a game. Yeah. And he's not playing, top tier at left guard, but I think he deserves all the praise in the world, because he is an Iron Man. He was an Iron Man before he came to the Jets for the 49ers. He never missed snaps. He's never a guy that gets injured, and he is someone that is playing every single game, the only starting offensive lineman for the New York Jets to play every single snap at left guard this season. And, you start off the season with these starting 5, and then he's the last man standing. Got to give Tomlinson some credit, because we need something good to talk about on the offense. Now, getting into this matchup against the Falcons, right, it's Tim Boyle, and we're going to get into the Aaron Rodgers talk in a bit as well. But, Atlanta Falcons coming to town to MetLife Stadium. Desmond Ritter's the quarterback. This is a game where the Jets should win, right? You're home. We're not favorited in this game, by the way, but you talk about a team that on paper I would say is a better squad. You look at the Atlanta Falcons, they have a quarterback nightmare of their own. They're dancing between Taylor Heineke and Desmond Ridder. I believe Ridder is going to start in this game. The one thing the Falcons do have that is on offense is a great offensive line, a great run game. 2 things the Jets don't have on offense. And one of the things that the Jets have been struggling with on defense, if you want to say what their kryptonite is, it's definitely, stopping the run at an efficient clip. So the one thing I will say is the only way the Jets win this game is the same way we've been saying they have to win the last 4 games. defense, 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 because there's no reason for me to believe this offense is going to figure anything out unless Aaron Rodgers being back at practice sparks something with Tim Boyle, which I can't really say with a straight face.
No, I mean, you're absolutely right, man. It's just so sad. Here we are once again having the same conversation yet again, begging this New York Jets defense to be the reason that we win games. And that's just, that's not the way things work in the modern day NFL. I said it on the podcast, earlier this week or last week, whichever episode it was. A great defense is a complementary piece, but you need to be able to score points. Look at teams like the Ravens, like the 49ers, like even the Chiefs, whose defense has come a long, long way. The Eagles, who have a monster defense and a monster offense. It's complementary. These teams are able to score 30 points of their own and then have a hammering defense to decimate you and dominate, So that's where the Jets are unable to play complementary football. And again, it goes back to the front office thing. But here you have a team like the Atlanta Falcons, and yes, they're a below average team. They're dealing with some quarterback issues of their own. But like Richie said, they have a great offensive line and a great running attack. They have Algier, they have Bijan Robinson, two young, exciting running backs. And, they're able to score points, which is, something the Jets are still, at a premium. Points are at a premium for the New York Jets is what I meant to say there. So, it's going to be a tough battle. Once again, we're asking our defense to do the same thing, to go out there and play, mistake-free football and, hope to see any semblance of life and competence from this offense. But what on earth would give us any faith that we're going to see that? The two positives that Richie and I just mentioned about this Atlanta Falcons offense, the offensive line and the running game, are the two things that if the Jets had, we would probably have a few more wins.
We're in the playoff race
on the schedule, but the offensive line took a dump. Obviously, injuries, what are you going to do? Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook have been completely MIA for weeks now. Not that Dalvin Cook was ever there. Dalvin Cook actually has looked more explosive than Breece Hall over the last game or two.
And I think that's the most underrated part of the issues of these offense that a lot of people are forgetting about, because we want to just put all the blame on the quarterback, which deserves majority of it. But there's no run game. There's no supporting. A good quarterback would play his best football when there's a good run game. And yes, you can blame the play calling, you can blame the scheme, you can blame so many things. I don't know what the issue is, okay? It's systemic, it's personnel, there's so much. It doesn't matter what the issue is, but the reality is they can't run the football. And with Breece Hall as your running back, it's kind of eye-opening. Me personally, I would expect a talent like Breece Hall to at least overcome an offensive line to make some type of plays. And Robert Saleh, we talked about what he had to say about Breece the other day, that he was going too much for the home run and not, trying to play that dirty football, picking up those extra yards. But you can't really blame him because the offense can't score touchdowns without him getting those home run plays. So, and I don't know if you know this, Jack, but Breece Hall's name came up on the injury report. He's dealing with the hamstring. He's limited. I don't know if that's going to keep him out of this game. Izzy's also dealing with an illness. So I don't know if what that means for the running back room. But hey, maybe Dalvin Cook, this is his time to be the bell cow. If both of them are down or if they're not at 100%. But the reality is this run game needs to get figured out, especially when you have Tim Boyle at quarterback, who provides no threat to an opposing defense down the field.
No threat in any way. And I guess that is a nice little segue into how in the world are the three quarterbacks on the New York Jets currently: Trevor Siemian, Zach Wilson, and Tim Boyle. And yes, Aaron Rodgers is back practicing, but he's not activated yet. Probably won't be for another couple weeks. Like we said at the beginning, he's got a 21-day window for this. So we'll see when that eventually comes and Aaron Rodgers gets the bump to what I assume will be quarterback 3 before maybe Christmas Eve. Aaron Rodgers will return. But man, oh man, when you're talking about this Jets offense, I mean, every offense in the NFL starts and ends with the quarterback position, man. It's the most important position in the sport by far. Doesn't even come close. And if you don't have a quarterback, you can't go. And it doesn't help when you don't have an offensive line or any sort of rushing attack or an offensive coordinator for that matter, or a lack of an offensive mind at the head coach spot. So, it's a mess, man. Tim Boyle's going to trot out there once more. Should we expect anything? I would say no. What would compel me to say otherwise? It's been the same crap. Nathaniel Hackett has been awful. I
do want to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Because we had a report from Zach Rosenblatt of The Athletic who let us know what we all expected, that Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh and Nathaniel Hackett, all their jobs are safe for next season because they want to go all in and run it back with Aaron Rodgers and give this, team an actual chance of what their envision was with Aaron being the quarterback. So what's your thoughts of hearing that level of confidence of that? Maybe something can disastrous happen in the end of the season where it's just like, no, they got to go right now. But what's your thoughts about hearing Hackett, number one's coming back because that's the number one guy everyone wants to scapegoat. And, of course, Robert Saleh is not proven to be anybody to, say he's the guy for the future. But it seems like the Johnsons want to run it back and give them another opportunity to see what the vision really is with Aaron Rodgers in 24.
It's such a tough question to answer, man, because half of me says one thing and half of me says the other thing. Listen, there are crucial, critical mistakes that this organization has made that they've botched so badly. Number one, with the quarterback spot. Obviously, they went out and they got Aaron Rodgers, fantastic. But to have zero backup plan. Look at the Miami Dolphins. Who's backing up Tua?
Mike effing White.
Mike White, who was obviously, as we all know, on the Jets last year. He was the best quarterback we have had in so long, Mike White, and we let him go. We let him walk away, and we have no backup plan. We know Zach Wilson stinks. We have no backup plan for the quarterback spot. And that's on Joe Douglas. That's on this whole regime for thinking Zach Wilson was competent in the first place, drafting him second overall to be the face of the franchise, realizing he stinks, falling back, somehow bringing Aaron Rodgers to this building. Because one of the positive things that I will say is that this current regime of Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh have established one of the most dominant defenses in the NFL. So that is a plus. That is a positive. That is definitely a reason why these guys, outside of Nathaniel Hackett, obviously deserve to come back. But the fact that nobody is going to pay the price, and this is where the other half of me comes in this year, the fact that nobody's going to pay the price for the absolute botch job that this season turned into is very frustrating. But also at the same time, continuity matters, man. And while I unfortunately don't think Robert Saleh is the guy to lead the Jets to the promised land, continuity matters, man. Unfortunately, I think the reality of the situation is we're stuck under the grip of Aaron Rodgers right now. We gave Aaron Rodgers the keys to the freaking franchise, basically. We brought his buddy Nathaniel Hackett here. We brought a bunch of his, former teammates here. They all stink. So, we're under the yoke of Aaron Rodgers right now. So it's very tough, man. Part of me says somebody deserves to go for how terrible this season turned into, and it's no excuse to be in the position where we're at with the team so talented outside of the quarterback spot as it currently is. Maybe it's proved to be not as talented as we thought in certain areas, like the wide receiver position outside of Garrett Wilson. That's a separate issue. But, it's a very and I'm curious to hear your take on this, man, because part of me says somebody's got to, pay the price this season. It shouldn't have been this bad. Part of me says, at least let's see what could have been, and if that has to be next year, then I guess so be it. But even if that's the case, I feel like we're just further delaying the inevitable firing of Robert Saleh and Nathaniel Hackett. Maybe Joe Douglas gets to stick around because he has done a lot of good. I still think he's done more good things than bad things, but who knows, man? I don't know. It's really up in the air right now.
Yeah, it is up in the air, and I personally think that Robert Saleh is definitely to be the first one to be criticizing him for the lackluster of this offense, even though as a defensive-minded guy, you're the head coach. But I also really, really want to see what Robert Saleh's team would look like with a good quarterback. We haven't seen that once. And yes, he is to blame that he's the head coach when they drafted Zach Wilson. He's not been a good guy to give Zach Wilson the supplements to develop, or maybe just Zach was a broken product even when they drafted him. He was never going to turn out to be. But I just really want to see what this New York Jets team looks like with Robert Saleh as the head coach with an elite-level quarterback of an Aaron Rodgers that can just lead an average offense down the field with an elite-level top 3 defense, because I genuinely still believe that Robert Saleh would be able to lead them to the playoffs and if not make a run, because we have seen that this Jets team beat the Eagles, and I hate to bring that up, but that's it feels like a fluke, but when you go and watch the game, it wasn't a fluke. That's how good the defense of this Jets team is. 4 turnovers they forced on a team that has lost once and only to the Jets, and that is a sustainable thing. But what's not sustainable is the offense. So that's why I personally like that they're giving Robert Saleh one more year with Aaron. Now, it's going to be all on that year because his contract is going to be, nearing an end, and they're not going to extend his contract. He needs to be out of here if everything falls apart next season. That's 100% guaranteed. But I think it would not be fair if, the Johnsons would just pull the plug off Saleh and not give him a chance to see what this team would look like with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, because I think, based off the defense, and it's so sad that we can't even give him any type of praise for the defense that he's constructed here, because it is such a great defense, and the talent that he developed here, and hiring Jeff Ulbrich and giving Ulbrich the reins of the defense, and just all the positive things we can talk about with this defense we're not even appreciating at all right now because of the incompetence of this team and the disastrous stuff that we're seeing. So it's just I want to see what this team will look like with Aaron, and the reality is Aaron Rodgers would not have come here without Robert Saleh. Aaron Rodgers obviously likes what Saleh brings to the table, and will it all blow up in our face next year? Is that a possibility? Absolutely, it's a possibility, but I'm personally willing to run with that risk because we're all in for Aaron this year, and we knew heading into the season, by the way, that this is not just a one-year thing with Aaron. We knew this was going to be a 2 to 3 year thing with Aaron. So I still believe that this is a 2 to 3 year thing with Aaron. Unfortunately for us, it wasn't a 1 year with him, so we can really see what it's like, and it's a little bit of unknown. And now we're going to have to wait and see if Aaron does come back at the end of the season to give us a little glimpse of what's to come in 2024.
Now, I got a question for you, man.
Yeah.
What's the quarterback situation next year? Real quick. Doesn't have to be long. What's the quarterback situation next year? Drafting a guy to be quarterback 2? Quarterback 3, we bring in like a Brissett type guy to be quarterback 2 behind Aaron Rodgers. That's what I would prefer. What's your vision for the quarterback room next season?
Yeah, I think I think Zach Wilson's days are numbered. I really don't see how you can salvage him coming back unless you can just figure out a way. It's either you draft a quarterback or you keep Zach as quarterback 3. I think it's either the rookie's quarterback 3 and like a mid-round pick, whether, they trade, because listen, the Jets don't have a second-round pick this year, so maybe they can trade up for a guy like Jaden Daniels from LSU, who could be like the Jalen Hurts of this draft class. Remember, Hurts was a second-round pick. Jaden Daniels is a really good quarterback I really like out of the draft. I don't really see the Jets going for a quarterback in the first round. I think it would be smart for them to go offensive line or wide receiver to give Aaron Rodgers the weapons that they want. And then, yes, you go after and get there, a veteran quarterback, a similar guy like a Geno Smith, who was a backup for so long, who is looking to be a franchise quarterback down the line, and now he's doing that in Seattle. A guy like Gardner Minshew or Jacoby Brissett. Someone that you can feel confident that if Aaron goes down, the season's not over like it was this season with Zach Wilson. So that's kind of how I look at it. You have Aaron Rodgers, you have a serviceable veteran backup quarterback, and then a day 2, day 3 rookie as quarterback 3 to redshirt for the year to develop for the future.
I agree, man. I think that's, on Zach, I think, you hit the nail on the head. There's no way you can bring him back into the building next year. I think he's done as a Jet, man. He might be done in the NFL. Who freaking knows? But he's shown nothing that he's worth keeping around. If you ask me, I think a nice mid-round quarterback to be quarterback 3. You go out and you get that capable veteran backup to be the number 2, and then you got Aaron freaking Rodgers coming back all healthy, ready to go to be quarterback 1, man. So
Aaron Rodgers,
could look very different next year with some luck. We need luck on our side, guys.
We do.
Can our luck flip? Can it switch?
I want to get your thoughts. Like, what goes through your mind when you see this? That this was yesterday. See the clip? Like,
for anybody listening in audio form, we're watching a clip of Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball at practice yesterday, and it's unbelievable, man. It's, like I said at the beginning of the stream, unprecedented. Who the hell thought that we'd be in this position again this year? But as unbelievable as it is frustrating. And I know you said this before, Rich, because the fact that this guy is going to come back, barring, a miracle next, 3 or 4 games, the fact that this guy is going to come back and be willing to play in meaningless football games.
Does that not tell you how all in he is with this organization?
And it's great from that reason, but how sad is it
Terribly
that this team could not find a way?
If we just won one of the last 4 games.
To even be hovering around 500, but now we're 3 games under. Like, it's a mess. Like, the AFC's wide open, 6-5, and you're in the last wild card spot. So the fact that we're not even in the mix anymore is just, like, pathetic, man.
We're not in the mix. But somehow, some way, we're not mathematically eliminated, and the only way that we are in it is you got to win not only this week, but the week after, and the week after that, and then the week after that. So we dug ourselves into this hole, and we'll see if we can get ourselves up.
10-7 still a possibility.
It is. 10 wins is still on the field, man. 6 wins in a row. With this defense, it's possible, and it's just, hey, Hackett. Hey, Boyle.
Didn't we win like 6 games in a row at the end of Adam Gase's first season?
Yeah, I think we finished that season 7-9. I think we won or
maybe
4 of the last 6 or something like that.
I think our last 8 games we were 6-2.
Yeah, it was something weird. It gave us false hope for Adam Gase. But
it did.
Listen, man, Aaron Rodgers. Adam Rodgers. I mean, I just got to tip my cap to you, Aaron. I really do love that you are proving to us fans that you genuinely care about this organization, and you kind of feel a sense of responsibility on your shoulders. And you said it on Pat McAfee's show that you kind of hold yourself accountable, and you feel like you let down us and let down the organization by simply getting injured. And listen, I personally don't hold a grudge against you. That's totally out of your control. But I just got to say thank you to Aaron, because he's someone that could have easily said, screw this team. They're an incompetent organization. They're a mess. I don't want to come back. I mean, I'm just going to go into my cave and meditate forever in the
huge
darkness.
Pay cut.
And just take, he did so much for this organization. And there's so many narratives out there that would try to push Aaron into this arrogant, selfish, guy. And I think that, what he's doing right now is kind of just trying to pump some life into this team and into this organization. And I just got to thank him, because, us Jets fans are not used to someone like his caliber, a greatness of an Aaron Rodgers would do something like that for the Jets organization. It just shows you that truly how all in he is for this team.
He is just, you can just tell he is just chomping at the bit. He wants it to be, September of next year already. He's just so ready. I think we all know in our heart of hearts that this season is washed, whether he comes back or not. I think that's, pretty much reality at this point. Very unfortunately, but I think that's, that's the reality of the matter. But imagine he's just envisioning what it's going to be like in September of next year. Fully healthy, ready to go. That picture, you can just kind of see him looking at, I don't know who else that is taking snaps, but
Timmy Boyle!
Yeah, that was Tim Boyle taking snaps that Rodgers was kind of off to the side looking at. And you can just tell, even just from, a picture tells 1,000 words, guys. And you can just tell this guy just wants to be out there so bad. Wants to, and I'm glad that he has such a chip on his shoulder. I love the loyalty that he's shown to the Jets organization. But I want an angry Aaron Rodgers. I want Aaron Rodgers that wants, that's pissed off, that wants to prove his personal doubters wrong. As much as I love the fact that he's all in on the Jets, I want him to be angry. I want him to go out there and prove to people that he still got it at age 40, coming off a torn Achilles. So
that'd be sick, man. I mean, this could be the craziest story. Even next year, if the Jets, if Rodgers is healthy all season, we have a successful season. That's a ridiculous story.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Aaron Rodgers with a chip on his shoulder is a dangerous thing. That's the point I was trying to get to there.
He brings a lot of juice with that chip, man. He's someone that, a sliver of doubt? Watch this. And he's doing it right now. And now there's people writing some conspiracy theories. Oh, he never tore his Achilles. Oh, he's lying. This needs to be investigated. Yeah, he's defying science, defying medicine, baby. Keep doing your thing, Aaron. Absolutely love what you bring to the table. Now, let's get more into this week's matchup against the Atlanta Falcons. As you guys know, guys, Jets Media, the podcast as well, is a proud sponsor, and that is BetUS Sportsbook. You guys can receive a 125% sign-up bonus by simply clicking the link down below in the description of this video, or if you're listening to it on the podcast, it is also linked there. You sign up for BetUS, you get a 125% sign-up bonus, which basically means you put $100 down, you get $125 free to play with, and you guys can make an account on behalf of Jets Media. They have a 24/7 customer service hotline that you can give them a call. Say, hey, I want to deposit X amount of dollars. Hey, I want to place X amount of dollars on this bet. That's my personal favorite part about BetUS. It's an old school feel. You can call them up and place your bets for you. So definitely make sure you guys check it out. Also, the max deposit to make this 125% is $2,500 if you're feeling crazy. But please bet responsibly. And we're going to get into the lines presented by BetUS. But before we do, we are going to hear a quick word from them.
BetUS, America's favorite sports book, where you can bet on everything anytime. Sportsbook, casino, horse racing, live betting, and more. We have the best bonuses in the industry. That's right, get a 125% sign-up bonus. And to celebrate our 30-year anniversary, we are giving up to 30 risk-free bets, a truck, Super Bowl tickets, and more. Don't miss out. Play smart. Join now. BetUS, where the game begins.
So here are the lines presented by BetUS. The Jets are 3-point underdogs at home. And the
Atlanta Falcons.
the over-under is 33.5. These are two terrible offenses matched up with two pretty good defenses. And the over-under is at 33.5. That is like the lowest I've seen in a while. Listen, I don't really know what to think about this. The sad thing is that the Jets are home underdogs against the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, what are we doing here? Isn't that sad, Jack?
It's it's just that encompasses the state of the New York Jets right now. Is that 3-point underdogs at home to the Atlanta Falcons. And, it's after Thanksgiving, man. So this is crunch time for real football teams. Real football teams, this is where they become their best. So, at least we'll see what kind of character the New York Jets have as we approach the end of the season here. 6 games left on the schedule. And we'll see, man. Do I have any faith in the offense? No. Do I have any faith in defense? Of course I do. But what else is new, man? What else is new, Rich?
Justin Hardy's returning, special teams captain. Maybe our punt coverage will be better.
All right.
And not give up some touchdowns in the first quarter on punt. Who knows? But we're getting healthier, and maybe this is the time where the magical season begins, and it all starts with you, Aaron, joining back onto the practice field. Now, in all seriousness, man, the keys for the Jets to win this game on Sunday, in my opinion, is going to be what we've been begging them to do for the last couple weeks, and that's just run a capable offense. We saw them do it at the fourth quarter against the Miami Dolphins, but that felt like garbage time. And the Dolphins are showing a vanilla defense. They're not really throwing crazy schematics at you like they were early on, and it kind of opened up things for Tim Boyle to make good throws to Garrett Wilson, to Tyler Conklin, had a touchdown to Garrett Wilson as well that we're not really talking about because who cares? We were losing by like 4 or 3 scores at the time, so it's not really anything to celebrate when you just score 1 touchdown and you lose at that magnitude. But I do want to say that, when it comes to this offense with Tim Boyle, I just want to see him run the operation and get the ball out fast and get the ball into the playmaker's hands with efficiency. That's all I'm asking from you, bro. Like, I genuinely believe if you give the ball to Breece Hall with space and Garrett Wilson in space, and maybe Tyler Conklin can make some plays. Jeremy Ruckert has been elevated on the depth chart. There are opportunities on this offense, but they just have to stop biting themselves in the foot because it's beyond that. It's execution, it's penalty issues, and it's Nathaniel Hackett calling good games. And I don't know, man, but Aaron Rodgers being on this team, this is our last lick because there is no hope for this Jets team making a miracle run if they don't win this game.
You're absolutely right, man, and I guess it starts with the big boys up front as well, right? I mean, you mentioned the skill position guys and the playmakers, but there's a guy like Tim Boyle who's an absolute liability with the football in his hands to begin with. Needs protection, so that's going to be an X factor. Do we know if Mekhi is going to be ready to go this week?
I think so. He's nursing that ankle. He's limited today, or yesterday he was. I didn't see the injury report today, but he's trending towards playing, I believe.
All right, so we'll assume he's going to play. I feel like if he's trending towards playing, he'll probably want to get out there and play.
So our O-line is going to be having Mekhi potentially back out there and Wes Schweitzer back out there at right guard, potentially, which would be a lot better than what we saw.
Yeah, I mean at least an upgrade from what we saw last week. I mean, because that was abysmal. But, I think the problem, obviously huge problem at quarterback, huge problem with the offensive line. We were sold a false bill of goods when it comes to, Alan Lazard and Randall Cobb as well, man. And, C.J. Uzomah. And Jeremy Ruckert has had an increased role, obviously, since Uzomah has been a bum. But, you mentioned the 3 players before, man. Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, and then occasionally Tyler Conklin. That's it for this offense, bro. That's it for this offense.
We did see some flashes from Brownlee. I kind of
a
little bit, and I kind of want to see him featured a little bit more, but that is going to be to the expense of Lazard.
Yeah, of course.
Are they benching him again?
I mean, I think so. I doubt it. Probably
that was
not.
Like a 1 week type of thing. Like you stink.
Dude, I said it on the pod the other day. That's on its way to being one of the worst free agent contracts that the Jets have ever given out because that guy should not be out there on the field. And he should not be out there on the field, and we got him locked up for 3 more seasons with another, $33 million heading his way after this year.
We can get out of it after next year. It's right. 44
so
mil.
Good.
It's 22 guaranteed, so we have him basically through next year. Because after next year, we can cut him and not.
So it's $11 million a year, half the contract fully guaranteed.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's a 4-year deal. 2 of them are guaranteed. And Saleh literally said
he'll be gone next year, bro. I'm telling you
he
already.
Said that
Lazard,
already, dude.
God.
He literally, Saleh was like, yeah, we got Lazard for another year and a half. And you look at the contract, it's like, yeah, but it says it's a 4-year deal. Because, with those deals.
He stinks.
With those deals, you want Lazard to play well. So you're like, all right, it's not guaranteed, but we want to pick up. We want you to stay on this team for year 3 and year 4.
That could be a little incentive. He's hoping Lazard hears that a little bit. Kind of a little way to incentivize your players a little bit.
Because we're rooting for you, Alan. Play better. We want you in year 3.
Of course, and that's something that I feel like a lot of even Jets fans, but especially non-Jets fans that tune into our shows, because there are a lot of them, and we appreciate all you guys. I feel like that's something that a lot of people get wrong about us, and Jets fans in particular, is that we love being miserable. We want to hate everybody. We want everybody to get fired. That could not be more wrong, man. We want these guys to do well. We want to see our team win. That is all we want as fans, is to see this team win. But the unfortunate reality for an organization like the New York Jets is we've been plagued with crappy players and crappy coaches and crappy GMs and crappy owners, if you want to go at them as well. So we're just keeping it a buck, man. Unfortunately, we've been right. That's all we've been, is right. Oh. Because where's Adam Gase coaching right now?
So sad.
Where's Gase at right now?
Adam Gase, coaching high school football. Just kidding. Shout out NYJ Matt for spreading that rumor and everybody falling for it.
How are the Bucs doing since Todd Bowles took over at head coach?
They're 4-7 with the Jets. So not looking good for anybody regarding former New York Jets. Listen, guys, we kind of hit everything we needed to hit on in this pod. We appreciate everybody tuning in. It would mean a lot to us, folks, if you could simply download and listen to our podcast on Apple and Spotify. If you could simply click that link down below in the description. Also, make sure to hit the thumbs up button if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you're listening to us, we greatly, greatly appreciate that. Jack and I are very excited about the launch of this podcast. We just hit over 1,000 total podcast downloads, which is a big, big milestone for the podcast. That is outside of YouTube. That is strictly on Apple and Spotify and Google Podcasts and wherever you listen to your podcast. We really want to appreciate and send our gratitude to you guys and thankful for all that you bring to the support. So that's going to wrap up this episode. We shall see what happens against the Falcons. I'll be live for the game as usual, and we will be live on Monday to give you guys our thoughts at 10 a.m. on Monday. Anything you want to say, Jack, before we wrap it up?
Thank you guys so much for all your support. Like Richie said, make sure you guys go check us out in audio form on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, wherever you guys listen to your podcasts. We appreciate every single one of you guys. And go Jets. Let's go and try and beat the Atlanta freaking Falcons.
Magical season begins now, baby. The greatest story.
3-point underdogs at home against the Falcons, baby. That is respect right there.
The greatest story ever told begins Sunday. Aaron Rodgers, we will see you soon.
See you soon, Aaron.
Peace out, guys. We miss you, 8. We miss you so much. Later.